This country is so divided. There are so many different views. Every finger's pointing away from its owner. We shouting blame and crying shame, but all are guilty just the same. Liberate your mind, my brethren. Liberate your mind, I say. Distrust and greed is keeping us back, crippling the state. We got to rise to the occasion and demonstrate to the world that we all are one, that we in this little country could live in love and harmony, working for prosperity, prosperity for you and me.
Share the live, share the live.
Some campaigning, some dictating. Everybody want to control. There's no process for creating an awareness of greater social and economic goals. This system has got to go, or we will suffer more. The power only working for a society privileged you. So true. Liberate your mind, my brethren. Liberate your mind, I say. Distrust and greed is keeping us back, crippling the state. We got to rise to the occasion and demonstrate to the world that we all are one, that we in this little country can live in love and harmony, working for prosperity, prosperity for you and me. Oh yeah. Despite the differences our eyes have seen, we need political unity. Be ready to unite and to work, not fight. Stand up for justice and for rights. Break down the barriers in this land. Stand between the working man who died so long, worked so hard, get so little out of life. Got here right. Liberate your mind, my brother. Liberate your mind, I say. Distrust and greed is keeping us back, crippling the state. We got to rise to the occasion and demonstrate to the world that we all are one, that we in this little country can live in love and harmony, working for prosperity, prosperity for you and me. Oh yeah.
To the Lord, to the Lord. Yes, Sons of the Man Latumba, liberate your mind, my brothers and sisters. I'm DJ Maurice, and I'm coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul St. Kitts. Yes, you heard it right. The DJ is here live and lively on a Wednesday evening. That's Wednesday, May 28th. I'm going to drop a little ad here for you folks who may be just scrolling the web and bump into us and wondering what this program is all about. The DJ will let you know what this program is all about, followed by a few adverts, Dwyer commentary, and we're going to get straight into the drive this evening. Stand by.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishall's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishall, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Log on.
Yes, you heard it right. Each and every Wednesday evening right here, DJ Maui shall come to you live via Facebook. Once we have completed the live broadcast, then we transfer to our YouTube channel. So my good people, let's take a quick run across our sister island Nevis and hear what my boy Carbo have to say to us.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Fungi and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabos and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabos, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over. Food all over. You got the food all over.
You heard it right. Carbo has the food all over Nevis and Carbo are available for catering services. So feel free to give Carbo a call and let him know DJ Marisha sent you. Now let's take a listen to my girl here, Sister Carmen of Carmen Caterers.
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and Sundays. Opposite the car shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
For sure, and you check Sister Carmen Monday to Friday from midday until about 5 there. Opposite the West Ferry Terminal downtown Bastille. And on a Sunday, you find her right there in the bus stop over there in Boyd Village, opposite the Agara's shop. Now, let's take a quick listen to my boy, brother Daniel there, over in Nevis with some business strategies.
Welcome to Strategies for Business Success, right here on 2020visionradio.com and on 102.1 FM with business development advocate Daniel Arthurton. Each week, Danny will build on a foundation to ensure your success in business. Being in business can be daunting, and Strategies for Business Success can help you avoid the pitfalls. Join Danny right here on 2020visionradio.com, on 102.1 FM, and on your other social media platforms every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. That's right, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. The time and place for your business dreams to come true.
Yes, you heard it correct. You checked Brother Danny right there and Nevis. Now let's take a quick listen to my boy, Brother Malvin Gumsy out of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and hear what he has to say about the DJ.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're listening to DJ Marisha, playing you the best in Caribbean music.
You got that?
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're locked into DJ Marisha. Keep it locked.
Right there, my good people. And we're still a few minutes before 6 o'clock. So since we have a few minutes before 6, I can drop right into a couple more ads and get things rolling in the right direction for you, our online viewers. So since we have a few minutes before, let me drop another couple of ads here. I also have a very special clip for you this evening. I'm going to leave it until later on in the program because you would not believe how these folks are so wicked and dangerous. But I'm going to save that clip for you. Now let's take a quick listen to my boy, Brother Gijo.
Check out Guy Joe's Bar at Station Street, Old Road, this and every Saturday for the best bullfoot, good water, conch, bigfoot, and cook up. If you're in the mood, we also serve garlic bread, fried fish, green salad, and burgers. So remember, the place to be is at Guy Joe's Bar, where you can enjoy Ludo games, snake and ladder, dominoes, listen to music all night, and sip on some cold drinks. Yes, it's all happening this and every Saturday at Gijo's Bar, Station Street, Old Road.
You got that. You check out Brother Gijo, let him know DJ Marisha sent you. Lovely place to hang out, jam a game of domino, have some cook up, some sauce, some lovely drinks, and your bartenders there very friendly. Brother Gijo, a man off my own hat. Now let me drop another clip here for my boy there, Brother Aston Coker. There's a new tire place there, Main Street, Sandy Point, St. Kitts, just up the road from the Brimstone Hill Fortress there. And that is a very lovely place. Tires can done, vehicles repairs and stuff like that. So let me drop this quick ad for my boy there, Brother Aston Coker.
Attention vehicle owners and operators. Your driving experience just got better. Yes, you heard it right. 3A's Auto Services, located Main Street, Sandy Point, St. Kitts, where you have tire sales and installation, vehicular repairs, and other services. You can reach Mr. Aston Corker at 869-664-2204, 869-667-2071, or 869-665-0605. Yes, 3A's Auto Services, located at Main Street, Sandy Point, St. Kitts, just above the Brimstone Hills Fortress. And you can reach out to them for emergency roadside services. Remember, Brother Aston Corker is available 24/7. Just call those numbers.
I just want to drive the motor car. I just want to drive the motor car. Drive it. Drive it. Give me one. Hey. Give me two. Hey, hey.
Yeah, you just have to drive into Brother Aston Coker yard there, right opposite the Brimstone Hill Road Fortress there, and you definitely can get your tires installed, repair work done to your vehicle, whatever you need. It's a full vehicular service center. You also can get Brother Aston if you have any issue on the road throughout the night. Brother Aston will definitely come to you for that kind of service as well. My good people, there's another ad that I must drop here. I got to give homage to a young man, a legend in his own rights, a man by the name of Dr. Garfield Alexander. So let me drop this clip, and I appreciate him taking the time out and lending his voice to you, citizens of our beloved Federation, home locally, regional, and internationally. So let's take a listen to Brother Dr. Garfield Alexander.
DJ Marisha, I don't want you guys to take your eyes off him. Remember, he's been around for some time. Let's go back to COVID and lockdowns. the gentleman came in, was locked down in quarantine, and then realized the total hypocrisy, tyranny, and oppression of the then administration during our most horriblest time. Spoke out. Not only spoke out, became an activist. And then you know what he did? Organize and centralize. And he never stopped organizing and centralizing until Timothy was gone. I don't even want to talk about the involvement he had before and the Douglas administration and the Harris. We ain't gonna talk about that. I'm just talking that during COVID, that man, both on this front, locally, and in the US, waged war against tyranny and oppression. One simple man. A DJ, as he calls himself. He never called himself an engineer or anything else. Just a DJ. Because he understands the power of voice. And not just voice. Autonomous, independent, honest, transparent voice. Always wins in the end. So it could be persons with unlimited power and unlimited money. He somehow always becomes the David against the Goliaths. Be careful with him. Be kind to him. Watch him. Because trust me, he's going to triumph in the end again.
Thank you, Brother Alexander. And with that, let's go straight into Brother Dwyer Astafan's commentary for today, Wednesday, May 28th, 2025.
Greetings. Over the weekend, the country got the news that the developers of Christopher Harbor had sold the marina to a U.S. company named Safe Harbor Marinas. Safe Harbor Marinas is said to be one of the biggest marina operators and owners in the world, maybe even the biggest. And it is backed up by a gigantic amount of corporate power, being itself owned by a company called Blackstone Infrastructure, which is one of the world's biggest investment and asset management companies, managing over $1 trillion worth of assets. Blackstone bought Safe Harbor just a few months ago for nearly $6 billion. So these people have a lot of money. So in terms of the ability to lift the profile and operations of the marina at Christopher Harbor and the yachting industry in our country and our country's economy generally, then perhaps Safe Harbor is exactly what the doctor ordered. Time will tell. In this regard, I'm advised that they intend to make changes so that Christopher Harbor Marina can become a major hub for mega yachts in the Eastern Caribbean. This can be very transformational and consequential for us in a positive way. Bringing super wealthy visitors to our shores opens up doors potentially to lots of good things for us as a nation, as an economy. But we need to be careful, we need to be strategic. Now, with regard to the marina itself, our government should ensure that every effort is made to remedy any environmental damage that has been done from earlier quote-unquote developments. Also, government should try its very best to explore the possibility of recovering salt harvesting from the Great Salt Pond, as was done in the past. And if this is possible, it could set up a separate niche industry for our people who, on an organized basis, would harvest and sell the exotic salt to yachters and other visitors and to the local market as well. Also, the government should ensure that every job that is created in upgrading, maintaining, and doing other works at the marina is prioritized in favor of locals, based of course on qualification. And in this vein, the government must also ensure that knowledge and skills transfer is a priority in situations where foreigners come in with skills that our local people don't have, to ensure that these skills are landed in this country, in the hands of our people. But there is more. The original master agreement, signed in June 2007 by then Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas and Christopher Harbor boss Mr. Charles Buddy Darby, contained certain provisions which, in my opinion, were disrespectful and offensive to the people and patrimony of this country. Indeed, by that agreement, they created, in effect, a separate principality at Christopher Harbour. And apart from other bad consequences, that constituted, again in my opinion, a threat to border security, and we have to be very careful with marinas, and for a lot of bad things that could happen in this country. We know this from experience. If these disrespectful, offensive, and dangerous provisions in that agreement are to continue with this new marina owner, then God help us. As a matter of fact, let me put it bluntly, Christopher Harbour will never achieve its potential as long as an agreement such as this master agreement exists. And the people of this country will never reap the benefits which they deserve as long as such an agreement exists. You will always be second or third class in the land where your navel strings are buried. Now, some of you may tell me that the present administration cannot do anything about the original agreement signed 18 years ago. But I would respectfully and robustly disagree. And here is why. 1. The master developer dragged its feet for over 10 years, and that set back stakeholders at Christopher Harbour. The area became a virtual investment graveyard, and the whole country suffered. Remember, to grasp the significance of this project to our country, it occupies a significant portion of the island, about 1/13, 1/14 of the size of the island. It is significant, and areas that are potentially beneficial to our people cannot be allowed to be investment and economic graveyards. Second, to add insult to injury, the developer borrowed money, loads of money, from local sources, such as SIDF and National Bank, and also owed Skelec millions of dollars for electricity. In short, the Drew administration had cards that it could play to leverage a new agreement, not only for the marina, but for the whole of Christopher Harbour. Of course, it would have had to have acted fairly and reasonably, but there is no doubt that this situation presented an opportunity to change things significantly at Christopher Harbour, and for the better of all of us, never to repeat such a terrible agreement as that was signed in June of 2007. Did the Drew administration factor those things into the discussions for the sale of the marina? Did it have a presence in the discussions because it has a vital interest in more ways than one in that project and that transaction? We need to know. And here is a good opportunity for them to demonstrate to the country their commitment to transparency and accountability. But there is more still. Were the Drew administration or other creditors present at the closing of sale last Friday to collect their respective parts of the proceeds of sale to pay off Christopher Harbour's debt to them, and perhaps in the process buy back its shares from the SIDF, which is said to own 30% of the company, Christopher Harbour Development Company? You know, just like they did when the OTI was sold to MSR Media, the former owners of OTI had owed the government money. And at the closing of that deal, the government had a presence to collect its money from the proceeds of sale. Did that happen last Friday? We need to know. That is how good business is done. This is how the administration can demonstrate that it is on the ball and is properly representing the people's best interests. So I ask the question again, was that done? Were we happy and joyful spectators to a transaction in which we have such a vital interest? Because if that is what it was, certainly not good enough. Wouldn't you like to know, as citizens? Is it not your right and in your interest to know? Wouldn't it be a sin if the Christopher Harbour developers were allowed to walk away with all of that money and leave their massive local commitments not settled? In fact, wouldn't it also be a sin if the government did not stipulate that an appropriate portion of the net proceeds of sale were to be used to fix what needs to be fixed at Christopher Harbour, quite apart from settling local creditors, to ensure the sustainment of the project and giving it a chance of redemption? And I'm coming to that in a minute. It can't be just left there, money taken out, and everything is left there as it was before. By the way, will Christopher Harbour have to pay stamp duty on the sale? Or is it exempt from that too? And property tax and everything else? Well, not everything literally, but so many things. If you read the agreement, you will see it is repulsive, the agreement of June 2007, and it needs to be changed, and this was an opportunity to make that change. Let me take it a step further. The Drew administration should have insisted that all of the proceeds of sale remain here at a local bank and placed under escrow to be used to settle all local commitments and to bring Christopher Harbour up to speed. They owe that to the country. For that money to be used for other purposes would be a great disservice to the stakeholders of Christopher Harbour and to the people of the country as a whole. And it would be an act of serious oversight by the present administration, whose prime duty, is to protect the interest of the stakeholders at Christopher Harbour and the interest of the citizens and residents on the whole. The Christopher Harbour developer have had us by the short and curly for 18 years. We waited and we waited and we waited. The developer borrowed our money, pretty much having its way with both the Douglas and Harris administrations. The former who signed the terrible agreement to which I have referred, and the latter who incredibly were on the way to lose SIDF's 30% interest in Christopher Harbour, and on top of that, pay Christopher Harbour $6 million US. Can you imagine that? The Christopher Harbour developer owed Skelec, perhaps still does. So last Friday, excuse me for being repetitive, last Friday was the time to remove their hands from around our necks and for us to at last insist on an arrangement that respects and benefits this country. Was that done for us? What was done for us? We need to know. Safe Harbor Marinas, big company, backed up by a bigger company, big money, much promise, much potential. We have to be careful. But what about the rest of Christopher Harbour? So while the news of the marina brings hope, there is, to me, no evidence to suggest that Christopher Harbour developers can re-oxygenate the overall project, even with the rest of the proceeds of sale. Even with that. And the management and direction of Christopher Harbour needs to change hands. The present developer has had its chance, more than enough time. We cannot wait for another 18 years of this bull crap. Excuse the term. Our people need work. Our people need business opportunities. Our people need to be empowered through economic opportunity, which prioritizes them in the land of their birth. Others do it, and our people need their dignity and patrimony to be restored. Deals like this are opportunities to steer us back on the right course. There are investment and development companies that would love to take over Christopher Harbour. I know of one which is absolutely world class, and the Prime Minister knows of that group as well, and that group is willing and able to step in and make a success of Christopher Harbour. Now is the time to move. Don't tell me we've been outsmarted again. And as I end, I want to say this. I am not at all amused by the fact that British lawyers are going to benefit out of the transaction here in St. Kitts. I don't like to see British law firms and law firms from beyond the region coming and setting up shop in these little islands. We can't do the same over there. And the same applies to real estate and other areas. Our people are being crowded out in their own tiny little space. We need to be protected. And who doesn't like it won't like it. That's okay. Once we provide an efficient, organized, and transparent business and social environment, we will attract capital and we will attract opportunity. So I don't like at all the idea of any British firm, law firm, or any other firm from countries like that leading the charge in transactions like this and using little local fronts. I don't like it one bit. So we want to hear from the Drew administration what we need to hear about this transaction and the direction in which Christopher Harbour will be headed. We don't want any empty promises echoing the past. Empty promises lead to serious disappointment and frustration. We've had enough of that. Thank you very much.
Brother Dwyer, thanks for that lovely commentary. And honestly, I don't really have much to add to it. I'm going to leave that one to you. I know you're capable of seeing that one through. The DJ going to stay laser focused on the CBI and this prison project and the lies that continue to come from our leadership, from the Prime Minister and his team. That is what the DJ going to be focusing on for now, unless something new pops up. So Dwyer, I would expect you to look into whether or not there was deeds or certificate of titles that the sellers was able to transfer, and whether or not the suppliers in the country get their funds, the national bank get back their money. What's the status of the people's money? I'll leave that one up to you, Dwyer. But I want to speak to my online viewers this evening, my good people of St. Kitts and Nevis, home here, locally, regional, and internationally. There has been a lot of detraction, smoke screen, a lot of stuff been thrown up over the past 2 weeks. Accusation about all kind of manner of evil to avoid the answers that we are looking for. Where is our CBI money? Who are the bad actors? This is what they're trying to hide. And there are many questions that has been asked of me via my podcast, via other mediums. And as I get these questions, I am of the view that the public have a right to know. We are a public entity. My podcast is a public entity. So whenever I say things and people ask questions, I think they have a right to get an answer. So I am not going to shy away from answering questions when the online viewers, whether they're in support of me or not, it's not here or there. It's not about the DJ right now. It's about the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and the citizens. So my good people, for those of you who are questioning why I did not say certain things that I am saying now in the past, I need you to understand that I am an ethical person. I was brought up by grandparents. My upbringing was able to make decisions based upon facts and respect, mutual respect. If you want to be respected, you have to give respect. You don't demand respect, you earn respect. And that is the life I have lived over the years, right? What I want our people to understand is this. There is something called ethics. And ethics, it's at its core is a system of moral principles that guide behaviors and help determine right and wrong. It's a branch of philosophy concerned with morality, exploring what is good, bad, right, and wrong. Ethics also refer to the specific principles and codes of conduct within a particular group, profession, religion, or a person. When it comes to ethics, it's not everyone can practice that. And it is very clear to me that our politicians in St. Kitts and Nevis don't have a clue what that is. They don't practice it. That is my core value, my heart, my soul has always been about ethics. That is why anyone who take the time out to get to know me will know that I put 100% into everything. Whether it's my work, loving someone, caring for someone, trying to advise someone, I put everything 100%. I try to do the right thing. Not any deception. Straight, honest conversation. Moral philosophy of ethics is a philosophy study of morally examining fundamentals question about good and bad, right and wrong, how people ought to behave, which is supposed to be the right way. We got a God above that watching us. Principles and codes. Ethics encompasses a set of principles and codes that guide decisions making and behaviors. These can be personal and professional or religious. These things I am not seeing in our politicians. It also guides action and behavior. Ethics is a concern with how people act, their character, their moral implications, or their choices. You heard me spoke about choices, chance, and changes before. Right versus wrong. Ethics helps to discern what is morally acceptable and unacceptable, providing a framework for making ethical judgments, good judgments. We seem to have a little problem in that area because the people that we gave a 33% raise not too long ago seems to be the people that is taking us to the cleaners. My good people, I was of the view that Prime Minister Joe and I had a good relationship. had a good understanding. Outside of that, working under the ministry of the Prime Minister, there are just certain things I could not say while employed. There was a thin line between what I do on this podcast and the work I do for the Prime Minister. I did my best. I tried my best. And for those of you who want questions answered, I'm going to answer them tonight. I hope when I answer them, it don't lead to another, well, why are you doing that now? Because you all are asking questions. And when I answer the questions, you all say I'm being bitter, I'm being vindictive. All I'm doing is presenting the facts. Just the facts. So let's move on. I have spoken to the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Joe, on numerous occasions about his action and inaction, but more so his actions. While employed at the JNF, at the request of the Prime Minister, people want to know, well, what I was doing there, because people say I was just walking around. My good people, as I said in the past, I did what I had to do to assist in getting rid of a former administration, looking for nothing in return. I made a statement a couple of weeks ago that following the election of the Labour Party, there was a lot of rumors out there. Did DJ want to work at the mission? I have no interest in working at the mission. But I want to thank Ambassador Norris Shiverton, Dakwil, Shiverton, however she put it. Whether they want the name call or not, the facts are the facts. Miss Shiverton invited me to her office at the St. Kitts Nevis Mission in Manhattan. She thanked me for my participation in helping the Labour Party become victorious. She told me about the rumor she was hearing that I wanted work at the mission. I explained to her my position. I heard it too. I have no interest in any work at the mission. I work for the government as a whole. I was content in where I was. I was satisfied with what I did. I'm satisfied with the change of government, and I'm good. And she was very courteous to me. She explained to me the gratitude that she has and the Prime Minister has. And if there's anything I can do, is there anything I need that they can help me with, feel free to reach out. I cannot say without looking into my phone the specific dates or day that the Prime Minister and I hook up. But at some point in time, we hooked up. And the Prime Minister, whether the matters was in motion already or not, he gave me his ideas of what he wants to do for the healthcare system. I told him what I'm capable of, my capabilities, what I did at my previous work. He said he wanted to get the institution of JNF accredited. He wanted to be an accredited hospital. My good people, it was not just the DJ was asked to be a part of that team. There are many other individual doctors that work in the Bronx in New York. There's a particular doctor that works at St. Barnabas Hospital right there on 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. When he met me at the JNF, when I came in, it's funny that he knew me like I knew myself in terms of his wife is a Trinidadian. They're familiar with the Labor Day in Brooklyn matter, and they've been following me from that. So we became close, my good people. So that's several other individuals that is a part of the team that I was asked to be a part of. I came in to be a part of the team to work on the accreditation of the hospital, not to be sitting on a JNF 9 to 5, not to be sitting in St. Kitts for weeks after weeks, months after months. I was supposed to be in and out like everybody else who come in, get the contract, do what they have to do, meet with who they want to meet with, and leave. You will find out as I continue with this conversation, is my love for country why I'm still here. I met someone who we had a conversation and we spoke, and their conversation as well is why I'm still here. Not that I came in to sit down in St. Kitts at the JNF. I came in to be a part of the accreditation team. Something temporary. There was no plan to be there permanently. Civil servants in St. Kitts and Nevis, they are forced to retire at 55. I don't pass that long time. So for the people who are out there trying to muddy the water, I just want to make it clear. I'm not here to make any excuses. I'm not here to cuss anybody. You all ask the question them, the DJ gonna answer them, right? So I came in as part of the accreditation team, and the Prime Minister asked me to report to the DHI. Nobody else. I'm to report to the DHI. I reported to the DHI. I met with him and other individuals at the JNF. The DHI gave me a tour of the facility. Following the tour of the facility, the DHI asked me my opinion. I said, well, I'll be honest with you. Based on my experience, if I was here in the capacity of an inspector, I would padlock this place completely. It's worse than a house stable. The response was, well, according to conversation with PAHO and other organization, there are other institutions within the region that are worse off than the JNF. My response was, I'm not speaking about the region. I'm speaking about what my assessment was here. Now, fast forward. Following my full assessment of the facility, I explained to the DHI, I explained to the Prime Minister. Clinically, I have not had the opportunity to look at their records, their files, and certain things. So clinically, I cannot speak about the possibility of accreditation. But structurally, and in terms of facilities management, which I am good at, which I participated in my previous stuff, this institution cannot be accredited. It will not be accredited under these conditions. Many of you in St. Kitts and Nevis knows, you all see the videos all over social media. If we're in fall for 5 minutes, the bucket, the pills come out, you're gonna be pulling patients here and there, water coming in on everybody at the hospital. Everybody knew that. That's the reality. When I tried to push to get the roofs repaired, because I tried to explain to the Prime Minister and the DHI, you cannot be putting paint on wall and brushing up the interior of the institution while water is coming in from the tap. You're going to be doing that for the rest of your life. The approach is to do the roof repairs, stop the leaks, and then you focus on the interior. They understood that. It was weeks upon weeks of back and forth, and nothing is getting done. I started getting frustrated to the point where I told the Prime Minister, I said, listen, I came in here to do some work for you. If I am not going to get the resources, and by the way, I did not just go and speak to the Prime Minister like that. I got permission from the DHI, and he gave me permission to speak to the Prime Minister. I explained to the Prime Minister, I'm not going to just sit around and collect a paycheck and not getting nothing done. So you decide what you want. The Prime Minister then reached out to me and told me he was going to send a team of people to see me, let them know what I need. The team of people came with some Taiwanese guys, very lovely guys. And I'm going to put it exactly what happened, because some people don't really understand what I went through at that institution. I didn't want to talk about things at the JNF because I left there. Some good people are there. There might be some attitude issues there, yes, but overall, the staff at the JNF are good people. I think their issues is from a management level. They're not getting the necessary support and guidance and whatever it takes, the resources to do their job. So I am not going to cuss the staff at the JNF. The majority of them that I know are good people. But what happened to me that afternoon when the contractor came is that a ladder that I was using and see around the property all week that I could get up on the roof disappeared. Nobody knew where to find it. So The contractor said to me, Mr. Mawisha will come back tomorrow with our gears and we will continue, which they did. They came the next day with their gears. They went, did the assessment. They explained to me that because of the material have to come in from overseas, China specifically, and there was a problem with shipping back in them days, they might not be able to get the material here in 2, 3, 4 months. We understood that. I was in New York when the material came in. A couple of days before I was supposed to return to St. Kitts, the material came in. I do not know whether it was the Prime Minister called me or I called him, but I believe he's the one that called me. I was in New York. He following up on me. He asked me, did anyone tell me that the work started on the roof? I told him no. He said, well, how come nobody informing you what's going on and you're in charge of that project? I said, I would not know. Nobody told me that the work started. Anyway, I came back in a couple of days later and I continued to do the work. In my view, with what was happening with that hospital roof, what we assess, the basic waterproofing, the guys did a very good job with what they had, the waterproofing of the facility. When it completed, there was several times rainfall and we didn't see any water coming. So we just had to pray that everything held through. But as the months progress and the rain keep coming, I observed between the medical ward and the surgical ward area, there was water springing back and somewhere between there. And we had to follow it. And I had the guys coming back and forth, checking. The problem got worse to the point where I had to get one of the men. I went and I asked for permission to break the ceiling to see exactly what's going on. I got permission. I had one of the men to break the ceiling. We realized the damage to the roof. The concrete roof is actually damaged. It's not about no little leak anymore. The entire roof is damaged all over. So I realized that much more major work have to be done. So when I hear the Prime Minister out there telling people on his podcast or on his square table that they repair the hospital, put on a new roof, it bothered me. And I called the Prime Minister, I reached out to him, I said, man, you're putting me in some very bad position because I cannot support these lies. Whoever is telling you that the roof is completely repaired and not updating you on what is going on a daily basis, something is wrong. They either choose not to hear what I'm saying, choose not to tell you the truth, or want to undermine you. Because the reality of the day, if you continue to tell these fibs to the country, the time going to come where you're going to be embarrassed. The low water pressure in the facility that they're telling you the water problem is resolved, they are lies. If you continue this, the time going to come where you're going to be made to be a fool. Cut out your lies. These are conversations the Prime Minister and I have. The Prime Minister said to me, Jeff, why that is why you're there. You know what's right and wrong. Yes, I am there, but I don't have any control over people lying to you and you're lying to the country. Anyway, let's continue on the roof situation. So in February of this year, after trying to get the contractor back in from last year and they're not moving, one of them traveled back to their country and whatever, the supervisor. Eventually I messaged him and I asked him, good morning, sir, when are you guys going to come back to the JNF to continue with the repairs, blah, blah, blah. And the gentleman replied to me and told me, I'm sorry that we have not been able to fulfill our promise to you, but we cannot live up to a contract when we are not paid. We haven't been paid. And I asked him, what are you talking about have not been paid? The Prime Minister said to me that this is a grant from the Taiwanese government. The Taiwanese government is going to cover labor and material on this project. So what is this thing about pay? He said, well, I'm going to show you the contract. He sent me a copy of the contract and he brought copies of the contract to me. And what I observe in that contract is that the contract is valued upwards of $180,000 for the work to get done. Now, in my view, as the person on the job, the person assessing the job, Had the Prime Minister involved me in a decision making in terms of monies for the work to be done, I can assure you, my good people, 180,000 US dollars could have gone much further, correcting that problem more permanently with local contractors. That's the reality. But I figure they say it's a grant, it's free money, it's a temporary fix. We accept it. Why the Prime Minister chose to lie to me, I do not know. I now know that is a lie. But when all of this thing is going on, you all don't understand it was a series of stuff taking place. While being lied to about work at the JNF and what to be done, simultaneously, as I said before, I get caught up in this CBI matter and this underselling of passport that we campaign on, my good people. I was a part of the team that campaigned against the farmer administration. We campaigned and called the prison project, criminal. I was asked today by a good friend of mine. They wanted to hear my version, not the Prime Minister's version. They wanted to hear my version of why I think that prison project was criminal. And they also asked me, do I think we needed a new prison? And the answer to that question is yes. I think we needed a new prison, still do, more so than ever now, because some people need to go in there. We need a lot of space. But with all of this thing with the prison, I was not just talking. I took the time out and went up to that facility. I visited the prison. I see the operations. When I went there originally, it was about 9 to 12 Chinese and 1 local. My concern at the time was I thought there was a ratio of how much foreigners to work in St. Kitts on a project in comparison to local. It's only recently, while speaking to Dwyer break it down to me that there really was not a law. It was an understanding what is not a law. And I have a problem with that. Because with all these local contractors that is out of work in our beloved federation, with all of these construction workers, plaster, mason, electrician, whatever, that is out of work, you got a prison project going on up there. And it's foreigners doing it while the locals sit down on the street, expect the DJ to buy them a beer. It's not about buying the beer. It's about our money going foreign. We got foreign ministers. We got ministers in the cloud regular, traveling, spending our money with nothing coming in. We're local here, fighting amongst ourselves, like a crab in a barrel, fighting each other for $1. While the people that we elect to take care of our business, they're out there squandering the money. You all hear the stories then. So I explained to that person that was my concern. The ratio of workers towards the foreigners working. They say that's a good argument and they understand, they support that. As the world rotates and we continue to go on and on, the more that I follow the story, the more that we dig, we realize that it's more bad than we anticipated. Where the Prime Minister and I start butting heads is when he could not lie to me anymore, While he could have lied to me and I said, okay, I'll wait. Okay, I'll wait. Everything was good. But when I jam in the corner, and it reminded me of when I was a delegate in New York. I remember the vice president of 1199 said to me one day, Mr. Marisha, you're a very good person. You're a very good investigator, but you got one problem. I said, what is it? She said, whenever you catch management in a lie, whenever you catch management and put them back against the wall, give them a way out. Because if they don't get a way out, they're going to be embarrassed and they're going to come back at you. And I realized that. I made some adjustments. Well, in this particular situation, I think I did the best that I could have done after I realized what is taking place. My God, people, I didn't want to do this. But since you all are asking the questions, I have to answer you all. This climax 3 weeks ago, where Mr. Azad Gums invited me to an interview. And whoever make the decision that I should separate from the institution. That anyway started, you know. This been going on from my inception there. But I was not going to walk away and turn my back. Anything I do it 100%. I let them do what they have to do because either way, it didn't really matter to me. I'm here to serve the people, to serve the country. I did not just went on a witch hunt to investigate. I requested an audience with the head of state last year, September. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister liked to say he wanted to check his phone and screenshot. So let me check my phone and make sure that I'm giving the correct date. I'm not going to screenshot it because it should be screenshot already. But let me check the exact date that I could give you exactly. Last September, to be exact, I got an audience with the Governor General. And I tried to find out, though she represents a foreign entity, she's a former Minister of Government here under the Labour administration. She's local, she's sitting here, she should know people talk. And there were certain things that I discussed with the Gigi, and her questions to me and asking me like, she don't know what's going on, so I want to know if the Gigi live in England. Because I show what's happening on this ground, every God, man, cat, and dog know what's going on. But she seems not to know anything. So out of respect, it was a very courteous visit. You were very respectful to me, respectful to each other and everything. I took my bottle of water and I leave. I then made some inquiries to have a meeting with the head of the civil service. That meeting, I didn't expect it to last no more than 5 minutes. Based on the conversation I planned to have, it should not have been no more than a 5-minute meeting. My good people, that meeting ended up over an hour in that office. And when I walk out of that office, it was refreshing because the head of civil services said to me, Mr. Marisha, I'm happy that we had this conversation. Now I have a better understanding of what's transpiring. The Prime Minister should be happy that he has someone like you looking out for him. Have you spoken to him about these things that you just explained to me? I said, yes. She said, what was his response? He's always going to get back to me. He's always going to get back to me. But it's when he gets back to me. She said, I think you should make an appointment to see him again and have the conversation again. And I made the arrangement with the Prime Minister. And like I said, maybe, 2-3 weeks ago, with all of this big debacle, that the Prime Minister and I met in March of this year. And I put several things on the Prime Minister table, you know. It's several things that we discuss, and I'm always open and straight with the Prime Minister. How I talk here at this podcast, I speak plain this way to everybody. I show the Prime Minister the issues he's having on the ground with his constituency in general and the issue on the ground with the other constituencies, especially here in my constituency of number 6, the support is dwindling. He understands, he said, they're going to improve. One of the things that I wasn't given approval to do this evening, but I'm going to do it because I think it's only fair that the general public get a sense of understanding of how the DJ function and why the DJ move a certain way, right? During that March meeting, there's a couple of individuals that had spoken to me about the situation. And I brought those information to the Prime Minister. But one particular situation that was not spoken to me about, which I was aware of, is a situation with Island Purified Water, which located there, Main Street, Newton Ground, St. Kitts. And why I brought that to the Prime Minister's attention was this. I went to New York maybe for about a week or two. When I joined the JNF, there's a water cooler in our shop that is serviced by the Island Purified Water. Throughout the JNF, the other water coolers are serviced by Island Purified Water. When I came back into the country and went into the JNF, I realized that the cooler is empty. There's no bottle on the cooler and the grumbling in the shop. So I asked them, what's going on? They said they do not know, but they understand that Island Purified Water no longer service the JNF. Now, the JNF is being serviced by Nelson Spring Water out of Davis. Now, that did not make no sense to me, because I know what Island Purified Water has contributed to the healthcare system in this country, to the various clinics around the island. I talk to my partner Scott all the time. I know that Island Purified Water gave money to the Labour Party campaign, and I want to believe they gave money to all of the campaigns, because companies like that don't just sponsor one party, they give a little to everybody. So I am of the view that the Island Purified Water Company not only take care of the clinics on St. Kitts, they gave money to the politicians for their campaign. They also have locals employed, and I want to believe it's upward of 30 to 50 people employed at Island Purified Water. And I'm not talking bad about Nelson Spring, because I communicated with folks at Nelson Spring, very good people, and they too has explained to me that they're having difficulties living up to delivering the amount of waters, the quantity that people need. So when I realized that we didn't have any water in the shop for a couple of days, it was disheartening for me. So I brought that to the Prime Minister's attention in March. I said, Mr. Prime Minister, are you aware that Island Purified Water no longer service the JNF? It's now serviced by Nelson Spring. He said no. But he's the Minister of Health. He said he's gonna look into it and get back to me. He put it in his notepad. Well, as I sit here today, I'm still waiting for the Prime Minister to get back to me. And these are some of the things that gets me, my good people. This government that I participated in getting elected, they're taking food, money, and everything from the locals and giving it to the foreigners. There's a great deal of work that has been given out to foreigners, while the locals are squanting. So when some of these folks with blinders on gonna say, don't study Mauritius, you can't even buy you a beer. I give people what I can give. I help who I can help. And I don't want to have you coming to beg me a beer. I have to buy you a beer. You should be in a position to buy your own beer, to buy me a beer, which the amount of monies that pass through this country that you, the citizen, should have, that some of them have in their bank account overseas. That is what you all should be concerned about. Not the DJ, not buying your beer. They continues to deceive you, to lie to you, because some of you just love to hear bad things about each other. We got a sickness in St. Kitts and Nevis. And what is that sickness? We love to hear negative things about our brothers and sisters. We love to hear that people are doing bad. You don't want to hear that people are doing good. You celebrate and enjoy knowing that somebody is doing bad. And that is where we need to get out of that nonsense, right? So, as I said, I am not a whistleblower, but I will continue to bring you, my online viewers, the facts as best that I can. That's what I'm going to be doing. That is what I will continue to do. If there's any further question on the matter, there's a lot more. I'll give you a short version. I can get deeper. But that's not what I want to do. I want to focus on the realities, the mess that this government have us in at the moment. Last week, I think it was Thursday. If it's not Thursday, it's Friday, but I want to believe it was Thursday, was Parliament. And I observed something happening. You guys should know that I have always come here and cheer the Speaker of the House to be a very good Speaker of the House. But she did something last Thursday that I have an issue with. And if we're going to speak about her when she's doing good stuff, I think it's only fair that I speak about things when I think she heard, right? I listened to Congress Maynard doing his thing. And when it was time for Timothy Harris to speak, Timothy Harris was going down a road where Congress stood up and object. Now, the Speaker stopped former Prime Minister Harris, now Dr. Harris, and tell him he was out of line based on the rules of the House. The DJ don't know the rules of the House, so the DJ cannot comment or defend whatever happened in that regard. But where the DJ going to come in and give an opinion is this. After a lengthy debate back and forth, the Speaker said she ruled that Mr. Harris could not go down that road. Fine, no problem. Well, my good people, apparently Mr. Harris walked out of Parliament. When Mr. Harris leave, Congress Maynard was given the floor. And he got up and speak on the same matter that Dr. Harris was speaking on. And my issue with the Speaker, the same way she shut down Harris from going down that road. Congress Maynard should not have given the opportunity to make any comments or any reference to that matter either. If you are following the rules for one, follow the rules for all. Harris could not speak on the topic, you shut him down. Congress want to speak on the topic, shut him down, Madam Speaker. That is all I have to say about that. Now, as we move on, someone made a statement that on the Ian Patty show about the DJ riding on the back of a bull, and the bullhead Prime Minister would not do whatever and whatever. Well, if the Prime Minister was not so bullheaded, he would learn, because all I am and all I was to the Prime Minister really is a support to the Prime Minister. That's it. Everything I did from beginning to end with Dr. Joe, now Prime Minister Joe, is be a support and guide him to the best way that I think I can. Not because they're doctors and prime ministers, my good people. They don't know everything. None of us know everything. The DJ don't know everything. But the DJ have a particular areas of experience. And the DJ will act in those areas. Now, for those of you who have been asking the questions, I'm going to answer your questions this evening. And I would hope, following my answers to these questions, that we can put them to rest. Because the more questions I ask is the more I'm going to have to elaborate. And I really want to move on from the JNF. I want to move on from the personal conversations. I want to focus on the country, the economy, and our CBI issue at this time. Because guess what? As I said last week, I don't have any interest in MSR and what's going on with the MSR. I don't got any interest in any foreign entity. My interest is St. Kitts Nevis and its people, and what I can do to assist to keep us afloat. According to information, Prime Minister Joe encouraged the MSR team to invest and purchase the OTI. As a return, there was some CBI shares that came with that purchase. Those shares were to be sold at $250,000 per share. Those are that's factual. somewhere along the line, things did not go well, arrangement did not go well, because following the purchase of the OTI by the MSR group, I understand the government sent someone there to collect monies from the deal that is owed to the government from the TDC group of companies. I still waiting to hear the result of those monies. How much money and where the money went. Nobody want to touch that, you know. I'm still waiting to hear that information. Anyway, with the breakdown of whatever MSR claimed that they won the prime minister prior to his election, that there was some underselling from the Galaxy N, from the prison project, and even after election, when the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party took office, the conversation continues. Now, why are we still fighting with this matter? Because some people don't want to accept responsibilities and move on. Because we know that the defense coming from the Labour administration was there was no underselling. And if there was any underselling under the former administration, none continued under the new Labour administration. The Galaxy people, they continued to investigate and they found out that to be a lie. You guys always heard the prime minister say, St. Kitts Nevis is a friend of Taiwan since the 1983 independence. We all know that Taiwan, China, is similar to St. Kitts and Nevis to me. But at the UN, China is represented at the United Nations, Taiwan is not. Taiwan wants to be an entity to represent themselves. That is their right to fight that. But if you listen to all our prime ministers, you hear them banging them out. Taiwan is the friend of St. Kitts Nevis. Taiwan this, Taiwan that. And my only question to Prime Minister Joe, you know, if Taiwan is our friend, and Taiwan does not have representative at the United Nations, but China do, why take a Chinese individual who has nothing to do with our government, nothing to do with our people that went to represent us to the UN? Why didn't you all take someone from Taiwan? And as the conversation continues now, I'm finding out it's not just one person they took. There is another man over to the right-hand side, Deb Bass, that is the keynote speaker for our CBI. My good people, while you all here want to kill the DJ for bringing out the facts, we have these people that taking our money out there. Our money is out there. We are here scrunting. Our money is out there. People living it up with our money. Every passport or every citizenship that is sold, these people get upward of $5,000 to $10,000 US for each passport, each sale. I'm pretty sure by now you guys heard that the amount of passport that was sold is more than the population, the legal population of St. Kitts and Nevis. These are things you all should be concerned about. Not the DJ, not Mr. Martinez. Keep your eyes on the prize. Those people you have down in church that is deceitful, that is bullshitting you all, that have these millions in their account overseas, that not doing what they was elected to do in the Federation. As I said previously, my first experience at an inauguration in St. Kitts and Nevis was on the 13th of August 2022 at Warner Park. And I heard them take the oath of allegiance to the king or the queen, whoever was in charge. I heard them take oath to uphold the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis. I hear them take oath to defend this nation. I hear them took oath of secrecy. But they went into office, went into cabinet, and took a vote to protect bad actors, their colleagues, not to uphold the Constitution, not to defend the country from these criminals, because there's criminal within. That's the problem. There's criminals within. So instead of them eradicate the criminal, they become complicit. Because I always hear my grandmother say, the cover up is worse than the crime. So I put all of them in there. There's not just rats in the cabinet. Yes, there are rats, but the termites is worse. The termites is worse, my good people. And who don't like to hear what I'm saying, you got to try to turn off your device, because I'm just bringing you the facts. And the DJ will continue to bring the facts until such time that the matter is resolved. I'm not here looking for likes, friends, or love. And for you people that have questions for the DJ, the place to bring the questions is here, that I can see them and answer the questions. When you take them to the other programs, I may not get your questions. So please bring them here. So without any further ado, it's just about 7 p.m. So we are a full hour into this podcast. So let me start off by answering some of these questions that was asked. First question.
Mr. Marisha reads this email. I'm coming to you, dear caller. I'm an ardent minister to your Wednesday evening program. But last Wednesday, I observed that something usual did not occur, and I would like some clarification. My question is, DJ, why you did not play your boy Dwyer commentary last Wednesday, as you normally do? You played all others, Carmen, Cabo, Daniel, the St. Thomas DJ, except Dwyer. Please explain, Mr. DJ, as why you failed to play this usual commentary. You see, I'm very suspicious. Nevertheless, I will wait to see what happens on Wednesday. Let's go back.
So, to that caller, to the Ian Patches, or that emailer to the Ian Patches show, the reason why there was no commentary played 3 weeks ago for Dwyer is because Dwyer did not do a commentary that week. Simple. He sent me a message that there was no commentary for that week, so there was none to play. But in addition to that, I would say this to you, caller, and your online viewers. Based on information that Dwyer gave me, he pays other media services, whether radio station or online media, he pays them to run his commentary. The DJ don't charge Dwyer to run his commentary here. However, the DJ screens everything that he produces. And as the producer of this program, if I listen to commentary or any information that I don't think is a public good or does not fit the narrative that I am trying to present, it will not be played. I do not know when, if Dwyer may ever say, well, Mr. Marisha, I'm not sending you no more commentary. I don't like your comments. Mr. Marisha, I don't want you to play my commentaries. I have no control over that. Remember, I had a good friend send me some songs from Nevis. And I used to jam them week after week after week. And some time ago, he sent me a WhatsApp message telling me don't play his songs anymore. He banned his own songs. Since then, we make up. We're good again. So I cannot do things outside of certain realm. So, Brother Patches, I hope you can tell your emailer that the reason for that commentary not to be played was because there was no commentary for that week. Let's go to the second statement coming out of the Patches program last Thursday.
They carried out a survey on the Drew Marichard debacle. I asked the person interviewed who you believe is telling the truth with the story of Drew's utterance and that Marichard tried to extort him of $40 to $100 million. While Marichard categorically denied the claim, touting that the Prime Minister is a liar, 95% of the people said that Marichard's account of the story was more credible and believable. Let's go back to the line.
Okay, my good people. Again, I want to thank that individual who did that survey and acknowledge that the DJ have no reason to lie. I am presenting facts. There's a third clip coming from the Ian Patches show, Again, let me drop this one.
Mr. Prime Minister, with this other email, I wonder why has it taken Marisha and Martinez so long to discover that you are a madman when 80% of the population have already found that out, or found out that you are a real demented person? I mean, the oblivious things you say, the insensitive lies you perpetuate, and your flagrant behavior overall is quite easily discernible. That you are demented. Where is the evidence that these mercenaries tried to extort money from you? Marisha text messages with you has really proven you to be a liar and has exonerated Marisha. Come clean with us, Prime Minister man. The next thing I expect you to say is, Harris, make you do it. You need to resign now and save the Federation from further shame and embarrassment. Let's go back.
So, my good people, those are the 3 clips coming out of the Ian Patchy show that I chose to bring to you this evening because I want to have transparency. I want folks to understand I am not here to run from anyone. I will be in this federation. Working for the government or not, I am here to stay. I will be here. Now, you guys heard me spoke last Wednesday evening in regards to some things I observed the previous Friday on the Freedom FM radio with the big JL, Sam Conda, and my cousin Dr. Martin. And I speak freely and openly because these are guys that deep down I love as individuals. But they're flawed in many ways. That is from my experience with them. All of us are flawed. Nobody's perfect. And I think I have a right to call them out when I say it. So I call out my cousin, Dr. Martin, and some people might take it and make it a big deal. But Dr. Martin knows, though I speak openly, I don't have any hatred for him. I have no hatred for the big JL or for Sam. All I'm saying is, you all know the facts. Deal with the facts. And that was not done. Well, my good people, I knew that none of them, not ZIZ, not Freedom FM, any entity, media houses that is seeking handouts from the government or from the Prime Minister will touch the topic right now that is taking place. That is something that I'm aware of. And that's why I can call them out. Many of them call me for news clip, what you call it, voice clip, for many other things, but not one of them called me yet because they know who I am. And I want to thank that caller that called into Freedom FM last Friday, Groundings, because you could see they're dancing around everything except the issue they need to address. So that caller who said he wanted to be a devil's advocate, I want to thank that caller that called in there, because some stuff came out of the mouth of Dr. Martin, Sam Conda, and Jamie. And I can say to you, my good people, what I heard coming from those 3 individuals on Friday is real, the real part of them. They was not thinking about covering up and spinning, though they was very careful and tactful in what they were saying. They were speaking the truth. But I knew that could not last. So I made sure that I went and pulled that clip because I know whenever, whether it's going to be the Prime Minister or his handler, somebody going to make sure that particular show disappear from YouTube. Just like I said, is what took place. After I captured the clip, you go back there today, you go there right now on YouTube, you cannot find the Groundings program for last week. But tell them the DJ is not easy. The DJ paying attention. The DJ is on top the ball. Right? The DJ is on the ball. So my good people, for those of you who did not hear the conversation between the callers, Sam Conda, Dr. Martin, and Jamie, I'm going to play that clip right now. So take a listen. It's no longer on YouTube on the Freedom Wall. You're not going to find it there, but you will find it at the DJ Marisha experience.
So all that, you see all this was happening, and the next thing, finally, Sean had chance to be prime minister twice. And what happened? He gave it up. That is why I have to commend Dr. Drew for it. First time winning his seat and gone straight to as a prime minister. I have to give him that credit. He had the guts. Sean was in government how many years before Team Unity formed? Maybe 10, 15 years. So he had a lot of experience of what was happening in the political scene.
Okay, Lucy.
Jamie, next week when you be on command, I'm going to finish your meeting.
Okay. Let's go back
That
to
sounds like a hot topic.
I know. That one was a little, scary. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good afternoon to everyone. I just want to be the devil's advocate at this moment. Sam, Dr. Martin, and Junie, the three big guns.
And Junie?
Yeah, and Junie Labor.
Oh.
You all name, I was listening to a tape, and you all name were called, mentioned by DJ Marisha, saying that rather than defending the country, the people, you all are defending labor. Labor. So I thought I would get a little thing to that, but I understand.
Okay.
Yes. What is your take on that?
Okay. Well,
hold on. What evidence? What evidence was provided?
No. Okay, go ahead. I will make a response.
What evidence?
We ain't got no time for this
Oh, we
afternoon.
don't. Okay, next week.
Yeah, next
I
week.
think that needs a full afternoon discussion.
But
Right,
let me just tell you.
We can't do this in how many?
Yeah.
We can't do this in 11 minutes.
Let me just tell you, mate. Right?
I'm going to remind you all.
No. Let me just tell you something about Sam here, right?
Yes, Sam. Yes.
There's a quotation from Mark Twain, who said at all times.
Let me hang up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mark Twain says at all times, people must defend their country and their people. They must support their country and their people. And they support a political party when the party deserves that support. And that's me. At all times, I'm defending and supporting my country.
Last week, when Junie was chairing, he introduced us with certain adjectives. One of them was patriot.
Right.
That's all I have to say. And this is Patrick Martin.
Okay. The lines are open for two minutes. You can call in at 662-1065, 465-6474, or 465-0546. We're going to go to the comments on our social media feed. Let's see if there are any comments. Please, you don't waste your time on that. Right, that's the first comment I'm seeing. I don't know on what. Someone says, big mistake by Sean and Mark, big political blunder to give Timothy prime ministership with one seat. What about what's going on with the saga with DJ Marisha and the prime minister? Any comments on that? We ain't got no time for that this afternoon. Sorry, we don't have the time. We gonna soon have to order new politicians from Amazon because most these, no bad. Jamie say you're not going to address labor turning where DJ me? Well, I don't understand why people want to mix me. No, I'm not going to address it. I don't have any information on it to address it. Somebody said Batcher used to like to ban any song that not favored by his government. Lord boy, you like mix up, Mark need to end. Don't care who they bring, Labour Party will win the next election. Jonel did not win the constituency fairly, and that is why after a measly 2 years he lost badly. the lockdown was really good for his political career. Okay. And that is all. Those are all of the comments there. So, gentlemen, we don't have any callers. We can wrap up.
Well, thank you again, Jamie, for anchoring another interesting
Junior will be back next week.
program.
I'm going to say that.
I think we have a people who are paying attention. In those comments, most of the comments, people are paying attention to the ebb and flow of the political arena, because that's where the political leaders come from. And I firmly believe, and I'm open to be challenged, that the days of the loyal section, the must win, must vote for me, those days are diminishing.
Yep. They're gone.
Yep. Well, that's right. That's right.
Well,
the electorate has changed.
I could have argued up until the 1990s that both PAM and Labour had a 40%, 30%, 40% loyal following. I don't see that anymore, and that in the electorate, in the body of the electorate, there is a 60-70% whose vote has to be sought. Notice I didn't say bought. Sought. And so
it's
this both.
The political party gets support when they deserve it.
And I forgot the author of this. Another person said.
We don't know that to be a fact because Trump won.
Well, he won fairly.
We don't know if he deserved it.
He won fairly. The elections are won and lost by people who show up to vote, and he got his people out.
Elections have consequences.
And so the persons who have this must-win mentality in their head, I wish to have a conversation with them, because I don't accept that there's any must-win. Anyway, we have to fight.
And the politicians have to do their work.
Have to fight.
They have, and there are no. Well, apart from maybe constituency 6, there are no safe seats in St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, let me not speak for Nevis, but there are no safe seats in St. Kitts anymore.
Yeah, man.
Which one?
6 and 3.
Yeah, that's what I said. 3?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well,
but 6, maybe.
I think, well, I'm going to end by saying it's going to be a very, very hot topic when there's boundaries change.
Yeah.
The boundaries changing?
When there's boundaries
well,
changing.
they have to change.
Well, we join the boundaries.
Yeah.
They
have
make
to
them
change.
constitutional. I think all bets are off. You have new calculus.
Yeah.
And so again, I want to end by saying, we, the people, the electorate, have to insist on the political parties that they put up the best people to run, because we cannot afford idiots in Church Street. And where's the NIA located? And Charlestown. Cannot afford that.
Mr. Condor, any final words?
Yeah, I think these are really interesting times.
Very.
And people think, I think people don't give politics and politicians the credit and the admiration and think that is due. I say that this is something that I enjoy doing and will do it again.
You would?
I would do it again.
He has not thrown in the towel, that's what he said.
I will do it. Not now, not I'll
no,
go
I
back
understand.
to
I understand.
In a new life.
I don't know what Dr. Martin was trying to do, but I understood what you meant.
That's the thing. And this is an honorable thing. This is a good thing. And people have to learn to differentiate between service to the people and parasites. I mean,
do we have a lot of parasites in politics?
I always saying that the most sacred duty of a citizen is to vote. Without government, life will be nasty, short and brutish.
But you know, I can.
There's nothing wrong with the politics. It is the people who involve.
I can also understand that sometimes people become disenchanted with politicians, as the person wrote that. You know, the person wrote that all the politicians bad.
Yeah,
no,
all the
right?
politicians.
But people have that notion that a lot of times people enter politics not for the good that they can do for the people, but the good that they can do for themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? So that makes people not really want to go out to vote. So it is the politician's job and the job of conversations such as these to educate people about the importance of making the right decision.
Yes, my good people. So that clip was taken down from the Freedom website, but not before the DJ got his hands on it. So my good people, that is something that they're trying to catch and kill. But DJ is on top of the things here to bring the real information to you. Now I'm going to drop a clip here. It's a clip that came off from a site there that called SKN Open Debates. It's highlights a lot of what have transpired with the ongoing saga with MSR and the current Labor administration. So let's take a listen.
I had 2 or 3 meetings with Terence Drew before the election. And I told him, I said, listen, I don't know if you're going to win, but if you do win, you should be aware that there is a massive problem in your citizenship by investment program. Fraud, money laundering, corruption. And he said, I understand, and I guarantee you that if I get in power, I will fix it. I said, please, because we have invested in your country. He said, please, if I win, keep investing because I will need the investment.
People are making up stuff as they go, seeking to deceive the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, Madam Speaker. Saying that I might have been responsible for inviting those from MSR here, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was not in office. I was not a member of Parliament.
I received a call from Dion Daniels to say that he wanted to introduce me some important people, right? So he came to the little beach house, very casual little house, very humble, that I was renting in Nevis. And he came with Dr. Drew and Dr. Douglas. And he arrived with a big smile. And he said, Mr. Martinez, I want to introduce you the future Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. So we sat down and we had a very pleasant, professional discussion with, at the time it was not Dr. Drew and Dr. Douglas. And they explained to me what they wanted to do with the country. And you know, after that, I met on one more occasion, I think, Dr. Drew, and I met his lawyer and advisor, Sylvester Anthony, I warned Dr. Drew of the problem of the CBI, and I told him this, you have an atomic bomb in your hand.
One of our first priorities, and my priorities, as Minister responsible for immigration and citizenship, national security, as exposed before, was to dig deep into the operations of our CBI unit, which I had been informed prior to taking office needed some significant attention.
My deal with MSR had nothing to do with CBI. My deal was up to $150,000 per movie. That was our deal. Sink is now, say man, that Mickey Mouse money. Come over here, man. Real money over here. We're gonna give you these shares. When you sell these shares, you're gonna make millions.
I had to remind Mark, I say, Mark, we have a good relationship with you, but you're the one that has, you know, we were gonna make only 2 movies in St. Kitts and Nevis and leave. right? But because we created so much jobs and because we have made so much good publicity for the films, for the country, you're the one that's met several times with our investors and told them, you guys have to qualify for the CBI. And we met with Les Khan and you've helped us to make the application. So when I see the people say, oh, I don't know, this is a matter now that is in the hands of very important people. Me, I'm just a few producers.
The people of your country need to understand that my investors and I have invested $38 million plus legal costs plus interest in the Federation at the demand of Timothy Harris and Terence Crew.
Timothy and Len Harris asked us to buy Belmont Farm, right? So I brought my investors, right? And we couldn't buy Belmont Farm. It's Belmont Farm. It's the Kitchen Hill. Because there was too many lawsuits, and I think that they told us that they had $5 million debt, and then a week later the $5 million became $45 million. So at the end of the day, Timothy Harris brought his brother Len, who was the head of corporation, Whitegate, yeah. And we made a contract to buy with them together, I think it was 500 acres, right? To turn it into a multi-billion-dollar Hollywood studio with Hollywood stars. The government, if I remember well, were committing that we were going to get 1,000 units, right? 1,000 shares, right? So $1 billion investment and 1,000 shares, which is the equivalent of $200 million.
At the express demand of Prime Minister Drew, we purchased the OTI hotel. We had to reapply like every citizenship by investment participant after the election. We sent a complete file to Sylvester Anthony, who then was the head of government of the board. I believe it was in January 2023. We then had a meeting with the entire board of the citizenship program at our office to go over our proposal. We then received, and it will be posted on that screen as well, a letter of approval for MSR Hotel and MSR Media in May 2023. To this date, our investment in the Federation is, with all those films and the hotel, is $35 million plus legal costs, about $3 million, plus interest. MSR Media, revenue of the CBI, nothing, zero. Why? Because on June 2022, if I'm correct, Mark Brantley, during the campaign, explained the situation of Galaxy with the jail project. That started MSR investigation. We wanted to know if we were going to be able to sell the unit that we've been given for our various projects. We had no idea of the scope of the fraud that we were going to discover. Anyway, I went to the cabinet, and after that, we had a meeting with Gus Wilkin, with my American partners, at his office, right? I can tell you what happened in the meeting very precisely. Mr. Attorney General, I'm here to file or to press or whatever you call it in St. Kitts, criminal charges against Galaxy and Les Khan. I have evidence that I would like you to review. I wasn't alone. We were with my American partners. But somehow, nobody wanted to look at our evidence. So the thing was, well, Philippe, we're going to take care of you. We're going to give you the unit, but I already have the unit. Well, we're going to give you a little bit more unit, like that you can make bigger movies. Okay. Now let's go over the WhatsApp messages, the that Attorney General Wilkin sent to Dwyer Estefan. 3 days after, we sent him a legal letter to inform him that we've given the information to the US Department of Justice. Okay? But what does it say? Right? It says no more than 8,000, meaning share from Galaxy. They just started send to share. Okay? Now, this is the very important part, which means 50K in fees and 25K to agent. And then they took as low as 12K per application revenue, but volume. And it won't. They probably paid team/PLP $10 to $15 million of that. Less, meaning 5 million. Still a good scam. Now this is the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, writing that to Dwyer Estefan 3 days after I put him on legal notice that I've given all information of the fraud to the US authority. Now, the next day after I received that, I sent those messages to Dr. Drew to see how disappointed. See, I put everything in writing. Everything. Say, how disappointed, since you guys knew all detail of the scam. Why was Galaxy and Lescan not prosecuted? Okay? And this is the day before, August 14, when Dwyer Estefan sent me those messages. After I discovered the evidence of the contract of CS Global, I asked Terence Drew to come to meet me at my hotel in St. Kitts with Dwyer Estefan and my dear friend and advisor, Charles Wilkin. And we told him, so what is that? What is that contract? He took the contract and he said, okay, I will look into it. Good governance, I will look into it. Then I say, let me show you the 45 minutes video of Lescan explaining who are the beneficiaries of that contract. Oh, I don't have time now, I have to go. I have to go. I'm giving you a contract that's more than suspicious. At the time, I didn't have the bank transaction, I must confess. I have a video of Lescan explaining precisely the historic of CS Global, how much they're making, and who are the beneficiaries. And you have to go? That's the good governance, Terence Drew? What are you going to do to stop the fraud? I guarantee you, we are not processing the illegal fraud. And he said, Andrew told me, don't believe what you hear. People have a political agenda. We are not processing those illegal applications. You have my word on that. Remember, we bought the hotel and continued to invest because Drew told us that he was training up the program. What he didn't tell us, and what he always denied, him and Gus Wilkin, that they were processing the application of Galaxy at the fraudulent price, not at $175, at less than $100,000. And they denied it. They say, Philippe, it's not true, you're hearing things, trust us, trust us, trust us. So I decided, with Mr. Buloa, who's expert in intelligence and counterterrorism, to go to meet Dev Bass. And we went to meet him in London, in his office. I was very polite and I said, Dev, we've never met, but you know that we know that Ying Jing is the queen of the CBI in the Caribbean and you're the king of the Caribbean CBI. Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis. You get money for doing nothing. I have a video I'd like to show you. Now you'll get to hear the bass and he talks like a street guy. Oh, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't want to see nothing, I don't care. Drew is my little brother. You know, I say, Dave,
The Chinese are selling the passport for half the price. Why are you allowing that? Oh, it's their problem. You know why it's their problem? Because it doesn't matter how much they sell it for. Dave gets his cut. And then whoever I know gets their cut, get their cut. All over the Caribbean. Dominica, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, it's a little bit different. So then I said, Dave, we're gonna have a problem. Because if we're not able to sell and be treated as a competitive market, I'm gonna have a problem. And he said, well, you know, you should go. We don't like Americans. You know, we like Russia, India. Fuck America. Fuck America. I told Dave, thank you very much for your time. We're gonna do that, just that. I called Drew. After we were in London, I called Wilkin. I told them that that guy needs to be expelled as a diplomat of the government, or whatever his function is, and that I demand an apology. Again, the good governors, they say, oh, he's not technically in the government, he's the official representative, and he's the guy that gets a cut on each passport of your money, people.
The point I want to make, Madam Speaker, is that we cannot allow persons with their own personal ambitions and gains, persons who might have become bankrupt, persons who are still having problems with this government and persons in this government, to take out and empty their claw on us here in this country with regard to the citizenship by investment program. Because some people are bent on destroying the program, and we shall not allow that to happen here in this country at all.
A nation hijacked by legacy, law, and lies by open debates, SKN. Let's not sugarcoat it. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis have been betrayed not by foreign invaders, but by a domestic dynasty that never truly left the plantation. From the ashes of slavery and the wreckage of colonialism, we were promised freedom. But behind the thin curtain of independence, the real masters stayed put. The plantation never died. It simply moved into boardrooms, courtrooms, and cabinet rooms where power is brokered behind closed doors. 3 names dominate this quiet empire: Wilkin, Kelsick, Astaphan, not elected by ballot, not chosen by the people, self-anointed stewards of an invisible regime that controls politics, law, finance, and opportunity in this federation. These are the permanent elites. They do not campaign. They do not term out. They fund both sides of the political divide: red, orange, yellow, blue, green, controlling the players like chess pieces on the same board. They write the laws, profit from them, and police dissent with a smile and a lawsuit. And what do the people get? Temporary elites, politicians who borrow the trappings of power for a season, only to hand it back once the ballots are counted, and the permanent elite recalibrates for the next 5 years of plunder. Now, the mask has slipped. The scandal that exposes it all. Attorney General Garth Wilkin, once head of the Bar Association, is now at the center of an alleged betrayal that reads like a courtroom thriller. Confidential government information, reportedly shared via WhatsApp with political insider Dwyer Astaphan, made its way to convicted fraudster Felipe Martinez, who then used that privileged material to launch a lawsuit against the government. And representing Martinez? None other than Kelsick, Wilkin, and Ferdinand, the very firm tied to Garth Wilkin himself. The same legacy, the same power circle, the same names. This is not a mistake. This is a system. Garth Wilkin never recused himself. Astaphan remains untouched by formal investigation. The Bar Association stands silent. The Prime Minister, deeply compromised according to Martinez's own admissions, offers no leadership. Instead, what we see is a feeding frenzy. Inside information weaponized against the government. legacy law firms cashing in, public trust shredded behind closed doors. Why the CBI was the real target? Let's be clear, the War on the Citizenship by Investment, CBI program, was never about reform. It was about protectionism. The permanent elite who control supermarkets, building supplies, real estate, finance, and legal structures saw CBI as a threat. CBI introduced foreign wealth, foreign competition, and foreign ambition onto an island they have monopolized for generations. The elite family's quiet rulers since slavery's collapse moved to kill the competition by manipulating weak politicians, manufacturing scandals, and weaponizing public institutions. Douglas resisted, Team Unity resisted, so they found new proxies, Terence Drew and his compromised cabinet.
The election in St. Kitts and Nevis, whether you believe it or not, can be bought. It is not too expensive for a rich person to buy an election in St. Kitts and Nevis. This election has proven that.
Today, as foreign investigators circle and the nation's reputation burns, the elite tighten their grip behind the scenes while the people are told to choose sides in a political drama where both sides have been bought. The true power divide, permanent versus temporary elites. While citizens argue about parties, policies, and personalities, the real rulers, the permanent elite, laugh from their seats of inherited power. Permanent elites, old guard families with generational wealth and influence, shaping government policy regardless of election outcomes. Temporary elites, politicians and their friends who ride into office on public hope, only to bow to the permanent masters once the votes are counted. And the people? We are kept busy fighting party wars, while the same hands quietly siphon our land, our opportunities, and our future. The plantation economy never ended, it simply upgraded its wardrobe. Where we stand today, we are not ruled by visionaries. We are ruled by opportunists. We are not governed. We are managed. We are not citizens. We are assets counted, controlled, and discarded when inconvenient. And now, as the scandals mount, we see the defenders of the plantation system emerge, the Uncle Toms on talk shows, the diaspora loyalists defending invisible masters, the independent institutions too scared or too compromised to act. Enough. The manifesto of a free people. We, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, demand immediate investigation into Garth Wilkin, Dwyer Astafin, and the Martinez affair. Independent oversight of all law firms connected to government contracts. Permanent firewall between private influence and public office. A constitutional amendment banning all political campaign financing from private entities. Full public registry of political donations, government contracts, and legal conflicts of interest. A new unity movement, not red, not yellow, not blue, not orange, not green, but the people for the people. Because if we do not act now, the plantation will not merely survive. It will thrive with Wi-Fi, concrete, and glass replacing cane fields, but the whip will be just as real. Final word. The legacy families think they have won. The politicians think the people are blind. The con artists think we are too weak to fight back.
You, the citizen, there is nothing you can do. Yeah, you can vote, that's it. But it's the same. Whether you vote that one or that one, it's the same.
They are wrong. St. Kitts and Nevis does not belong to Wilkin, Kelsick, Astafan, or any other invisible hand pulling the strings. It belongs to us, to the descendants of the enslaved, to the builders, to the dreamers, to the future. No more betrayal, no more manipulation, no more silence.
The point I want to make, Madam Speaker, is that we cannot allow persons with their own personal ambitions and gains, persons who might have become bankrupt, persons who are still having problems with this government and persons in this government, to take out and empty their claw on us here in this country with regard to the citizenship by investment program. Because some people are bent on destroying the program. And we shall not allow that to happen here in this country at all.
At Open Debates SKN, we believe in bold conversations, fearless thinking, and open minds.
Yes, my good people. So I really enjoyed that presentation. It's an overview of where we are in our beloved federation. And we're just about approaching the 7:43 p.m. hour. As you know, we are heading to 8 p.m. So I'm going to drop one other clip. This one is coming from Ambassador Sam Kanda speaking on the peace program.
Saying what Sean and Pam saying. Sean and Pam, they have no moral authority to speak on this issue. There have been total failures, absolute failure. You cannot solve the crime problem like they were trying to do by spending money. They have corrupted the system. What we're going to get is more crime as a result of that. We cannot let a group hold the country to ransom, and we cannot pay them to do that. You don't reward people for bad behavior. People get punished for bad behavior. And that's what you have to do. So, I mean, the last government, Team Unity, Sean, and then they made a mess. They corrupted the thing. In fact, we were on the way to solving the problem before Team Unity and Tim and Sean and them intervened, you know. Because the guys themselves were getting together. That's well known. That this wasn't serving anybody well, nobody. Neither the victims, nor the perpetrators, nor anybody. And the guys were coming around to look and say, let's get a problem. Let's
And the
solve
thing
problem.
is, right, that point that you're making, that the guys were coming together to solve this problem. My thing is, we need to do an well, not we, but there needs to be an investigation as to who is involved in these things.
Exactly.
Because we don't know.
Involved in what?
In the crimes that are
Jamie,
because some of these people.
And Jamie, that is exactly.
No, I'm not meaning. I don't mean like that.
Jamie.
I'm saying that the guys were getting together, right, to fix the problem among themselves.
Yeah.
Are these guys who are getting together the ones who are involved in the present situation?
Well, Jamie, that is precisely what the government, the present government was trying. The government laid out a whole program.
The elevates.
Well, I don't know. I'm not talking about the name. I'm talking about what they said they were going to do. In fact, they had a thing about the parliamentary oversight of the program, not to run it from the development bank under Len Harris. An audit, what you're speaking about, an audit of the program to allay the fears of corruption, to develop a criteria for entry and exit from the program, to integrate the program with the existing programs of STEP and PAP and entrepreneurial programs to achieve genuine reintegration into mainstream life, to dismantle the gangs. You know, it's saying that them guys coming together. That was to dismantle and not come together to solve any problem.
And not only that, but provide mentorship for the younger ones who are in schools, because we do know that there is a serious gang problem within our schools.
That is it, Jamie. It was all laid out. It was printed. It was published. Applied psychoanalysis to determine the root cause of the deviant behavior. Have a truth and reconciliation process to include surviving victims, documentation so that they will be able to access and address such situation on a continuous basis. The government put a whole program, what they're going to do, how they're going to do it.
But this is and I hear all of you say there, but sometimes the issue is implementation.
Exactly.
I mean, how are you going to implement these things? And Jamie, you made a point. The people who are the stakeholders of the peace, you need to engage them. You need to sit down with them. They're still relevant. You need to now sit down and ask them, well, what is happening? Because what I'm saying, I understand people are still being paid. My thing is, if you're getting paid, it means then that there should be peace.
You can't pay nobody for peace.
No, I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying if they are getting paid, it means then that there should be peace. And if there is no peace, then you should not be getting paid. It's simple. If the former administration came up with a situation that was, to me, just to fix it at the time. That is not sustainable, never been sustainable. But they came up with something. They have now acculturated some of these guys in a way of thinking that is money is the savior. Money is the savior. How you are now going to tell them, why this is not the savior? No, the money is not the savior. It's more than the money. Is how you now going to become productive, a productive son of the soil or daughter of the soil, and feel good about yourself. I mean, you could get a job like everybody else, work like everybody else, earn like everyone else, and still feel good about yourself. To sit down and just have people give you free money, to me that is destructive.
Counterproductive,
It is destructive. And so, but we have to convince them of that, because the former administration led by Timothy Harris would have now inculcated that in them, that give you money and you're all right. So it's a serious issue of how are we going to now change that to let them know you got to become a productive citizen. We have to get you on board, and that is why a lot of things must be involved.
My good people, at this point in time, it's just about 11 minutes before the 8 o'clock hour, and I definitely cannot finish this program this evening without dropping this lovely track that was sent to me. I really love this track, and I am of the view that the individual that sent me this track is God sent in my life.
Can I tell you how much I love to love? Can I tell you what it means to me? No matter what, I'll be here by your side. No matter what, I'll be here by your side. I love to dream, I love to smile for my dreams. Oh, I will fight, even though it may bring tears on my face. Ooh, I love a good life, and I don't care to pay the price. I will show you how much you mean to me. Oh, I will show you how much you mean to me. Can I tell you how much I love to love? Can I tell you what it means to me? No matter what, I'll be here by your side. No matter what, I'll be here by your side. Can I tell you how much I love to love? Can I tell you what it means to me? No matter what, I'll be here by your side. No matter what, I'll be here by your side. I love a good life, and I don't care to pay the price. But still I will show you how much you mean to me. Oh, I will show you how much you mean to me.
Yes, my good people, just about 7 minutes before the 8 o'clock hour. And as you know, it's around that time where we bring down the curtains here. I want to thank all your online viewers who log on and continue to have the conversation. Whether it may be positive or negative, the idea is that we need to have that conversation. So I want to thank you all for coming in and participate in our usual weekly podcast. Now I'm going to drop the unofficial anthem of our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. This one is by the late great, the King Arrow. My good friend, dear sister Hazel, have to bounce to this one. Hazel, I'm asking you to just take a listen to the lyrics this evening. Our country needs us now more than ever. We are at the crossroads and we need to bond together and stay positive. We have to sustain.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Building a wall so massive or a bridge, don't care how small, as one tends to divide our people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community. Selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. nation, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, my good people, and that has brought us to the end of yet another successful broadcast here at the DJ Marisha Experience. I want to take the time out to big up the good folks there, the good water people at Island Purified Water, Main Street, Newton Grounds, St. Kitts, the man Brother Powell, aka Scatter. I want to thank you for your continued contribution in keeping the DJ hydrated when he's in our beloved Federation.